Welcome to Functional Horsemanship. Are you saying hello too, Junior? I wrote an article about 6-8 months ago about different organizations and agencies providing equine emergency responder training about how to rescue and handle horses, not necessarily for horsemen, but for other emergency personnel when they have to remove horses from places that are in danger of wildlands fires or floods, things of this nature. I got a couple of responses to that post. One of them was that it would be a good idea to blindfold train your horses, and that's something I've never done before. I've put slickers and shirts and stuff over their head to protect them from hailstorms. I've been caught out in a couple hailstorms, and you know they've got a pretty thin bony structure on their head here, and their eyes and nose are pretty sensitive. So I've used shirts and coats to cover their head in storms. Try to find what sparse overhead cover, like a little mesquite tree that I could find. But I've never tried to blindfold train my horses before. But it's a good idea just for removal from fires. But it's going to take a little bit to get them sacked out on that. If your horses are okay with handling their ears, if you use fly masks, then you're going to be one step ahead. If you're out caught in a hailstorm, or if you don't have anything else to cover their head with, you may have to take your shirt off. And I took a shirt from my closet here to use, and I'm going to first make sure that my horse is okay with this shirt, flapping around, rubbing on his face before I go any further. He's pretty sound on that. I put slickers over his head before and ridden him for a little bit, being on the ground, and totally blindfolding is something else for a horse. I'm just going to take this shirt, kind of fold it up, put it over his face, let him feel that. I'm not going to secure it or anything, and see how he reacts to that. And the longer he stands like that, the more troubled he's going to be by it, but he's doing okay. Stay out of his head in case he tries to throw his head. He's okay with that. I'm going to take it off and give him that release. So he stood quietly, and I'm going to give him that release. I'm going to reassure him too. And through the whole time I'm doing this, if you're not doing it on camera, you're probably going to want to talk and let the horse hear your voice, so that may be a calming influence. I can take this shirt, fold it over, put it around his eyes, take the shirt tails, just wrap them together, tighten them like this. This is a pretty good blindfold. He can't see, and can protect his eyes from, again, like hail or smoke or blowing sand. Sometimes out here in West Texas we get 80-mile-an-hour winds, and that sand can take the paint off a car or the hide off a horse. That may be a slight exaggeration. So if I got this blindfold on him, I'm going to move him around a little bit. He's going to want to go backwards better than he goes forward, because he can't see forward, and they like to back away from some. This is in front of him, so if he goes any place, he's going to go backwards, try to get away from it. He's handling it pretty good. Take it off, give him that release, reassure him. It's a good boy, Junior. It's a good boy. If I was going any place or moving around with a blindfold, and I wasn't sure about the horse's ability to handle it, or you know, get too troubled by it, I'd drape it just like I did, just around his eyes, and I'd tie it underneath his throat latch here. But if I was going to go someplace, or where I want to eventually be, is I want to be able to put this blindfold on him, tuck a tail into that brow band. Oh, let me do that again. It'll secure it a little more. Get this off his nose so he doesn't feel like he's being restricted from breathing. Then I tie it back here underneath his throat latch like that. I can secure this better, and this way it's not liable to fall out too much. And this is the first time he's had this, so he's doing pretty good. But again, he's wearing fly masks and have slickers over his head, so he's reacting pretty good. So I'm going to reconfigure this. May be easier to tie it first. All right. Tuck in these loose ends so they won't be flapping around and spooking him. Tuck this up underneath the brow band. Need to cooperate a little bit here, partner. Let's see. Too much for you. Okay, from here, before I go off trying to lead him or anything, I'm just trying to get him moved around. And I do that on both sides, back him up, move him forward. I've got a hackamore on him rather than a halter, but I try to lead him if I have to. You may have to get some like a lunge line or a rope, tap him on the rear end, get him to move around. But this is the beginnings of getting your horse blindfolded trained, and it's good for not only removing him from disasters like fires or floods, help emergency personnel, but also if you're caught out in the weather and you've got some bad sandstorms or hail, you can help protect your horse. I hope this helps. Safe journey.